masks off. I don't believe that vaccine mandates are ethical, moral, or constitutional. I don't think we should force anyone to take a vaccine that they believe is harmful. I personally know 2 people who have been seriously injured by vaccines, and I also have 4 people close to me who died from COVID. I think vaccines should be a personal choice. It should not be something that the state or an employer forces on you. I have friends in law enforcement and in healthcare. I have friends who are teachers, many of whom do not want the vaccine and who don't want to be fired and shouldn't be because they refuse the vaccine. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gaynor and Ms. Lake. Where do you stand on vaccine mandates, and do you believe that businesses should be allowed to force their employees to be vaccinated?
I'm absolutely against vaccine mandates. That being said, I am a vaccinated. I mean, I have my polio vaccine and all of those. I have not gotten the COVID vaccine, and I don't plan on getting it. I have enough concern. There's enough concern about this vaccine that people have the right to think about it, research it, and say, no, I'm not comfortable with that. One of the people on our staff, her husband got it and has had trouble with it. He's been in the hospital after getting the vaccine. I'm not willing to take that health risk. I have children that rely on me. And I'll be damned. I don't have a boss anymore. This is my boss up here. But I'll be damned if my old boss, if I were still at the station, was going to tell me to get a vaccine. Our health decisions should be our health decisions. Not some corporate goon, not the boss who's always giving you the stink eye at work. These people want total control over us, and it's unacceptable. But unfortunately, me saying that doesn't do a lot, because I'm not going to be governor until January of 23, and I think a lot of people are going to lose their jobs by then. And we're in tough times. We're not in times for weak people. People are going to lose their jobs because I don't think we can act fast enough. I think we haven't acted fast enough, and we're seeing it. I just was reading somewhere today where a police chief said 75% of the police in one town are walking out, and I support them. I support them for doing that. Towns are going to go without healthcare workers. We're going to see hospitals have struggles. We're going to see police departments have struggles. But we're at tough times right now. Our backs are against the wall, and God did not put us here because we're weak people. How many in this audience think we are in really unique, difficult times in human history? Okay, who doesn't think that? I want to know. Does anybody think these are not unique, difficult, tough times? Do you think God made mistakes by putting a bunch of weak people here? No, he didn't.
God didn't make weak people.
We do not have weak people here. We just sometimes think we are. And we're going to have to make difficult decisions. And some of us are going to have to temporarily leave our jobs, which I hate to say. But we got a country to save. And by complying with these tyrants, we are only prolonging our misery. I'm opposed to vaccine mandates. I'm opposed to our bosses telling us what to do, corporate America telling us how to live our lives when it comes to our medical history or our medical decisions, 100%. And as governor, I will do everything in my power to stop this BS immediately.
Thank you, Ms. Lake. Moving along to our next section, border security. Mr. Salmon, first of all, what is your greatest concern that is happening at our border? And will you complete the wall where it is not finished? And lastly, how will you stop illegals from coming into our state?
I'm glad you asked the question. I've said repeatedly, when I get elected governor, the first press conference I do is with a post hole digger on the border, because if the feds aren't going to do it, we'll get it done. And if we have to offset and put it on state land to get that done, then we'll get that done. And also to negotiate with the Indian tribes. It'll probably have to be done because a lot of the land unfortunately, is on the tribal lands and their sovereign nations, so we're going to have to negotiate with them. But let the games begin. We need to start that now. The second thing, though, is I've met with our sheriffs all over the state, and they've told me what they're doing, and that the federal government will not allow them to do anything but surveil. They won't allow them to apprehend. Well, that's crap. That's our job as our state is to protect our sovereign government as well. In fact, in Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution says two things. It says every state is guaranteed a Republican form of government. And the second thing it says that the United States of America guarantees that every state will be free from invasion. Folks, are we free from invasion? No. Are we? No. Okay. Well, do we have a right to stand up for ourselves? Yes. Absolutely. And so I believe that applies to the wall, but that also applies to arresting people for violating our state laws. And just to make sure that we do it right, I want to do exactly what they did in Texas. They declared disaster areas in the counties where the most illegal immigration is happening. And then the laws, the punishment for violating state laws goes way up. So we can actually incarcerate them. So even though Joe Biden has out a welcome mat, we're going to say, that don't apply to Arizona. The second thing is, once we've incarcerated them, I'm going to send the bill to the federal government. Because they're not doing their job. They are not doing their job. And we're going to make sure that they do their job. I've said over and over and over again, the answer to our questions as a state is Nancy Reagan's policies of just say no to the federal government, time and time again. If you're not going to do what you're constitutionally required to do, then we'll get it done. And if you're telling us to do something that's not in the Constitution, then we're not going to do it. Plain and simple. That's the way we have to have a governor that leads this state and fights for our sovereignty and our constitutional freedoms.
Thank you, Mr. Salmon. Mr. Gaynor, what is your greatest concern at the border? Will you complete the wall where it is not finished? And how will you stop illegals from coming into our state?
Is that a question for me?
Yes.
Yes.
The situation at the border is a crisis. It's a tremendous problem not only for Arizona, but for the country. And it's not a simple problem to solve. Anyone who says it is not being honest with us. In Texas, much of the border is held in private lands, but not in Arizona. In Arizona, most of the border is on Indian lands or is owned by the federal government. So it is not a simple process of just continuing to build the wall. The first thing that needs to be done is the National Guard needs to be used to reinforce the Border Patrol at the border, and the sheriff's departments and sheriffs in counties that are willing to cooperate should be beefed up, doubled if necessary. Third, the state police should be patrolling every road in southern Arizona 24/7. The purpose of all of this is to make it expensive for the cartels to import people and drugs into our state. If we do that, the cartels are economic entities. They're not fools. They will go someplace else where it's much easier to get in, namely California. It's a crisis. The border has to be closed, and it takes someone with experience in organization and logistics to marshal the resources necessary to shut the flow of people and drugs. And that's what I will do as governor.
Thank you, Mr. Gaynor. Ms. Lake, what is your greatest concern at the border? Will you complete the wall where it is not finished? And how will you stop illegals from coming into our state?
I was at the border a few months ago, and I was so astonished to see that people just walk across. Border Patrol's sitting over there, they walk across, they wave, they walk up to the Border Patrol, and they process them, welcome to America. You're basically now a citizen, because we know that's what's going on. Why the hell are we letting that happen? Why is Border Patrol letting that happen?